missing friend Atik. And he's a very, very close friend of mine. All your august watchers and listeners, let me just make a promise to all the people who have been sending me messages and asking me whether I will show up. Especially many of our watchers in the northern part of Ghana.
Okay. Yeah.
My answer to you is a firm yes. I will never walk away from what brought me to where it has brought me. I never did when I was at Free Zones.
Yeah, that's true.
Even though I had certain characters like Dr. Ndum openly castigating me, and today, where is he? The things that I was saying were going to happen when Kwadwo takes power in this country, what has happened? My good friend Atik is one of the people I want. Okay? So I never change my friends. I never change the people that I have known since I was a nobody. So when you call me, unless I am indisposed due to family or I'm not around, I'm always here. Let me recall something that happened the last time I appeared on Alaje, which was at the La event that you did.
Yeah.
A gentleman walked towards me holding a bag. And I hope he doesn't mind me recalling this because I won't mention his name. I didn't know him from Adam. And he gave me the bag and it had a smoke in it. And I said, oh, thank you, but where are you from? And he said, I came all the way from Tamale to come and see you. I've been wanting to see you for about 10 years. But I didn't want to come to a studio to look for you. So I came all the way from Tamale. So I said to him, oh, let me pay for the smoke at least. And he laughed and asked me, so are you going to pay for my airfare from Tamale? That is why I do what I do, for people like you. So I'll never walk away from you. I just want you to know that. Now, Atik, you mentioned something about there being a continuum when it comes to the perception of doing the right thing by the people when it comes to prosecutions and all that. But what you haven't spoken about is also doing the right thing by the people when it comes to malicious prosecutors. In the case of Dr. Opuni, specifically, farmer after farmer, after technocrat has come to tell the court that there was nothing wrong with the fertilizer. Right? I'm sure you know that. Reports after reports have been generated showing that Dr. Opuni didn't have any business being in court. Indeed, I hope many of you are aware that Iyoko exonerated Dr. Opuni. And the case was now shuffled to the financial fraud unit of the police by express, and it is a documented occurrence that the then senior minister wrote to the financial fraud unit to pick up the case. Because Iyoko told him that there's nothing. So prosecutors are enjoined to use exculpatory evidence to discontinue prosecutions that are incompetent. But in the past 8 years, everybody knows that there have been malicious prosecutions. I'm not a lawyer, I can't speak to any, but the most obvious one is the Richard Japa issue. I don't want to prejudice any onward, but we all heard the voices, we all heard, everybody knows. So let us not pretend like people were not gone after Ofori Atta is the last person on this planet who should be crying foul about raids in his house. He's the last person. Senna, are you not aware that my house was raided? Are you not aware that my parents' house was raided? Are you not aware, and I say this and I don't want to get emotional, that my mom, my 73-year-old mom at the time, was forced to climb up 5 flights of stairs to go and explain my absence? Are you not aware that I have been arrested again and again? I was once arrested on arrival in this country after health treatment. And I have the video. You have the video. I've never... Why? Are there no CCTV cameras in my house? Have I put the videos out? I could go on and on and I always say that when I sit in the presence of our big brother Kwesi Pratt, I don't want to talk about what I've been through. Because what he has been put through for daring to question authority is more than anybody cumulatively has been through. So Ken Ofori Atta should keep quiet. He has not been, excuse me to say, quoted or flogged in a public square. The things that he made to be done to others are the same things that will be done to him. After all, let us just remember that when Jesus, let me use a biblical analogy here, when Jesus came into, was it Bethlehem or Nazareth, when they were adorning him with the palm fronds, a week later, the same people who are adorning him with the palm fronds are the same people who said they should crucify him. The people didn't change. When you were using people, the security services, to harass people, what did you think was going to happen to you when you were not there? You see, some people are not good students of history. There are many dictators who employ the powers of their office and the powers of the state to persecute their political opponents. In fact, indeed, many a time, people who are part of their own circle. And then the moment they are not in office, those same institutions are turned against them. Look, there are people in this country who do not give a crap about NDC or MPP. What they do is they give a crap about themselves. So they will do everything you said you should do when you are in office. And when you are out of office, the very things you said they should do, they will use it against you. Some of the people too that you encounter are what I call missing people. They put their hand on their jaw and look at you whenever you want to do anything you say they should do, they'll say yes. Yes, sir, master, they will do it. Then next person comes, it's the same, yes, sir, master. Senna, I superintended the free zones for 8 years. Okay? There was a gentleman who had been accused. Listen, he had been accused of committing fraud and collecting bribes. Right? And my board wanted him turned over to the police. And that day, me against my board and my minister, trying to tell them that allegations are just allegations. So let's at least give the gentleman the opportunity to explain what happened. And let's hasten slowly. I managed to convince them that let's hasten slowly. Because the people who he had collected the bribe from had brought a petition with their lawyer, they were prepared to come to the board and come and testify. Sana, when the MPP took office and I was being persecuted for what I didn't even do, you go to Ukraine, you'll be shown a letter that you signed 6 years ago. That's how they operate. And say, answer what you signed. If you are a CEO and you remember what you did 6 years ago, were you working? So I'll call him and say, look, this and this and this. Senna, I called that gentleman. Till today, he has not returned my call. Till today. I hear he was running around the office saying I should go to prison. That's how some people are. And guess what? A few days ago, he saw me in the offices of the prison and he wanted to greet me. I said, nothing had happened.
Can you imagine your reaction? Knowing you.
No, knowing me, I didn't say anything.
Wow.
Because if I had said something, what you would have heard would have been a different narrative. So I said nothing. So I'm trying to tell you that through all the changing scenes of life, as the hymn says, there are good people, there are bad people, but the people you should be worried about the most are the indifferent people. Because if you know history, during the Nazi years, there were camp commandants who would be called to smile and comfort concentration camp victims just before they were going to be executed. So whilst they were in the jails and being treated badly, when they are about to be executed, the camp commandants will call them, take to their house, give them meals and try to comfort them and tell them, oh, nothing is going to happen to you. This is just before you are going to be executed. So Ken Ofori Atta and the gang of brigands and buccaneers who have done what they have done to this country should pack up. Wait for the case of the law. Stop pretending like you didn't know this day was going to come. Look, part of the problems that these people are going to have is that there are many people in this country who have lost their life savings. And when I say their life savings, I beg Brother Kwesi 1070. He has been working at least, I know that during the time, I've known him from the time he was at DMPC. So I know him. So yes, he's been working through all that time, right? He's put savings away. And I also know, and he has stated publicly, in public forum, how good a saver he is and what he has done with his money to take care of his family. So I'm not saying something people haven't heard before. So he has done that all over these years. Imagine he's suffering. He goes to put it in a bank or in savings, because we are told, any business student will be told that the best savings is government bonds, because that's a risk-free rate. That is what it is called in business studies. And cometh Ken Ofori Atta, the risk-free bonds that people bought to secure their livelihoods is what turned out to be the most dangerous bonds of all time, because those monies are gone. 2 weeks before they did the DDEP, President Akufo-Addo came out and said there will be no haircuts, and the reason why Akufo-Addo did that was he was told to come and do it to avert a run on banking institutions in this country. So how deceptive can you be? How deceptive can you be? President Akufo-Addo was that camp commander who comforts you before you are about to be executed. They went ahead and did this DDEP and told us that if you have saved money over 35 to 40 years of being a teacher, a prison guard, a policeman, a soldier, fire person, whatever, ordinary public servant, a business person. We have expropriated your savings. We cannot give you the interest we promised you. When you are 87, come and collect your money at no interest. Do you understand why people are angry? I was a victim of it. Have you seen me running around chasing anybody? Whilst we were victims of the chicanery of Kwadwo and his gang, right? Ken Ofori Atta was making interest, was making commissions off of the money that he had stolen from us. You are sitting there saying you are distressed. You are distressed? Ken Ofori Atta, when you were ill, you went to the most expensive hospital on the face of this earth to have organ transplants. Throughout all that time when you had the organ transplants and your recuperation and your recovery, the president refused to replace him. He was superintending our economy from his sick bed. Are you surprised we are where we are now? Are you surprised? For the first time in the history of our country, 90 MPs from the ruling government went to the president and told him, change your finance minister. And you know the president's response? When he was looking for money for me to come to power, where were you? People like my brother Sulu here, principled person, wrong party, stood up and decided that, okay, it's enough. We are working. And I have a lot of respect for him for doing that. Because at some point, it doesn't matter what you are giving me. It's about my fidelity to what I have decided to do as a politician. So take your party, we are working. And I always tell him how much I respect him for that. I know he went through threats of, they ruined his business, which is their standard modus operandi. They ruin your business, ruin your welfare. My father's business has been ruined completely because I am a politician. What did he have to do with you? Apart from sharing the same name. A business he built over 50 years. So those are the things that Ken Ofori Atta has done and so pretended. Kwadwo was not the real president of this country. The president of this country during the last 8 years was Ken Ofori Atta. Even after he was sacked, he was heading a delegation to spring meetings. Didn't you see him? So what is he complaining about? It is time to pay the piper duty. It is time. There is no place on this planet that you can go and hide. No arrogance is going to stop you. But I share the concerns of the posturing of the OSP. Why are you calling him now? Why didn't you call him when MPP were in power? Could you have called him when MPP were in power? Could you have? Of course he couldn't. And I also share Atik's position that the concept of the OSP should be looked at. Because after demanding for bulletproof vehicles, they have not been able to convict a single person. Instead of sheepishly having press conferences and singing high life songs that we all know, right? I know because I dabble in music every now and then. It's a hobby of mine.
You dance to that music?
I'm a better, let's just say I'm a better engineer and a politician than I'm a musician, but I like music, so I dabble in it. Don't come and hold press conferences and sing high life songs. And play trapeze tactics, behaving like somebody at a circus. Because for us it's not important. personally saw Ken Ofori Atta during the Christmas holidays dancing, and I have videos, I can give it to you, dancing at Old Atmotan. He was dancing, and he was dancing, didn't look like he was ill to me. But of course, I'm not a doctor, and illness can happen in a day or two, so I'm not decrying the fact that he may not be feeling well. But even the arrogance in that letter from his lawyers. So I would like the position of the office of the OSP to be clarified properly, to serve this country, and not for the OSP to become a law unto himself, do things that the AG is not aware of, do things that the police are not aware of, just grandstanding. Because what I saw was grandstanding. And some people have even expressed concern that it is to make himself relevant. That's my worry. There are also other people that he should be going after. Because just once again, just like during the Nazi regime, it wasn't just Hitler. Hitler had a lot of associates. I'm not for one moment saying Ken Ofori Atta is Hitler, but I'm saying that when you have a band of ragtag motley crew, usurpers and pirates running a country, it is a conflagration of all of the above, not just one person. I also have a problem with my majority leader apologizing to Ken Ofori Atta. What was he apologizing for? I don't know whether he gave the order for the people who went to his house to go there. I don't know whether he was involved in the decision to go to Ken's house. But I thought that if there was an apology to be made, it was those people who said the people they should apologize, not the majority leader. Because you have handed Afenyo Marking a potato to play with. You've done that. Sometimes there are reasons why the ordinary people of this country believe that Parliament is a Freemasonry. Sometimes there are reasons. And that was one of the reasons. You see, politics is a stage. When you are playing on the stage, you act the part. But when you exit stage left, you also need to understand that whatever you did whilst you were on the stage is what will be used to remember you, whether you win an Oscar or you win a BAFTA or you don't win anything. So there are some of them who are very good with what they do. But let's be mindful. And I share the thoughts of one of our most eminent lawyers, criminal defense attorneys in this country, Lawyer Kwadwo Twum. When you ask what exactly did our majority leader apologize for, you see, after you see the narrative that it has spawned, will that be the first time that security operatives have parachuted into somebody's home? The current Attorney General, the current Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine, they went into his house. His children were there. His wife was there. They seized his computer, his phone, basically even his briefcase. They took it away and brought it back after a year. Goodness knows what they are going to put in it. They did the same thing to John Jinapo. Did the same thing to several others. Like I told you earlier, you know that they parachuted into my parents' home. What did my parents have to do with anything that I was supposed to have done? I've never mentioned it before. He came to my house. So, those kinds of things, if we actually want to make sure that those things are proscribed, then let's prescribe it across board. And I said elsewhere that maybe the majority leader should apologize to all of us. That would have been better. Because I am distressed as somebody who is still suffering the trauma of what I went through for 2.5 years, to find that on day one, Ken Ofori Atta has been apologized to in Parliament. I went to Iyoko 34 times. 34 times.
You asked the Free Zones Board, chair 34.
What did I do? My crime was I warned the public against Akufo-Addo. That was my crime. And that's at various points I was told. Oh, Nasa, you say now did you man nothing. Since when did I become a crime? If I was doing that at all. My caution, abundant caution, that I gave freely, is what we are living with today. Send me a bank account in your fire. At least I'm still alive. Some of your media colleagues, some of your media colleagues who were the doyens of entertaining Akufo-Addo's assassins, some of them are today sitting in wheelchairs asking where their pensions are. At least me, it's only my leg that hurts. I'm still working. Am I not? I'm still here. So, let us understand that if you go to the top, the source of the river, and you poison it, don't come to the confluence and come and claim somebody has poisoned the well or poisoned the river. People have been through hell in the last 8 years. My friend Abongo was jailed despite having 19-year history of kidney problems. For those of you who don't know, Abongo is Mr. TV. 19-year history of being on dialysis. He was still locked up, and the judge had absolutely no mercy doing it. Kwesi, our friend and brother, one of the originators of this program, Mr. Bafo, who lost his life to COVID. His brother was jailed. When the man died, they refused him permission to come to his brother's funeral. How cruel can you be? They will not give him compassionate leave to go and see his brother buried. And you people are sitting there, you are complaining. What are you complaining about? On day one? But it is all designed to cower the NDC into inaction, so that a few years down the line, they can once again come up with a narrative. You said we were going to do this, we couldn't do anything. Hey, Afenjomaki, you are saying Ken Ofori Atta is distressed. Do you know how many people he has distressed with closing down banking institutions? Have you seen Kofi Amoabi of late? Have you seen what they did to him? This is the same man you went to collect money to save your party. The day before you shut down his bank, you were at his golf course, eating in his house. How wicked can you be? And you are distressed? You are distressed? Really? My brother, let me stop here. What people have been through in this country, and Akufo-Addo, and those people. caution my party. I am not asking you to go and do anything ultra-virus. Anything that is against the law. But the law must work. Ghanaians are now living with a lot of pain, and the pain continues. Look, next week, if the government doesn't find a way to come up and meet the debts that have been accrued as a result of Ken Ofori Atta's gambling, we are in trouble. So you chew on that. Chew on the continuum of what Ken Ofori Atta has left us. It will not leave us in our lifetime. It will take generations to fix what they've done. So let's all chew on that.